All right, we're gonna do quick demo of what's done so far. Here's the create room. It's built to somewhat replicate the choose a pilot screen, even though it's sort of a facsimile. All right, so new cursors. Got the hand there, high def. Tech library I just finished with the cutscene. I'd really like to be able to eliminate that gap that either bleeds through another scene or the splash screen between the cutscenes and these static backdrops. But I think that's going to be a Jeremy thing. I don't know exactly what's causing that gap. Maybe it's loading time. It might be loading time that's causing that. I don't know. All right, so that's that. I've got new sounds for the doors. All right, so here's the film room. I'm updating the render.
034, please report to the bridge.
I'm updating the render for the film room so that it's a little less fuzzy. You'll see. Have that gap again. Yep, bleeds through into the main concourse. I do think it might probably be a loading time issue. It takes a second for the larger images to load, but I'm not sure of that. It's just a guess. Okay, so that's the film room. Here's the simulator room. Still have an issue with this small image that's actually the animation is actually bleeding over into the space for the single player pod. But I don't have any control over that because that image isn't quite that large. So that would probably be a coding thing. But if you click over here, you can get the single player. This one is also a little fuzzy. I might try and re-render this one as well, a higher resolution. Anyway, so there's that. Oh. So new sounds for the buttons, and obviously new higher res buttons. So anyway, that's that. Let's see, maybe we can go to training missions, load. See the briefing here. Yeah, so these higher res icons, when they do that sort of highlight feature, they kind of bug out sometimes. It's not super consistent either. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I don't know if it does it every time an icon from a certain color group is highlighted for the first time. Because you notice that once the green and the red has been highlighted once, it's like it's loading it for the first time when it does that. Like, I think for the rest of this briefing, there won't be any issues. But if suddenly there was a blue icon highlighted, it would freeze for a second. So I think that causes the issue, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so there's that. Back to Concourse. So here's the crew room. Still new sounds. Rank. Metal case. The metal case has to be, I can't constrain it to the 4.3 for the clickable area. So it's got the panel arms off a little bit. The panel arms were a pain in the butt for me to line up. So, and this is the only, I think one of only a handful of screens that are actually have a clickable area that's wide, and I can't do this one narrow because it messes up all the stuff. So maybe at some point I'll fix that button, but that was a pain. So okay, so there's that. Let's see what else we have. The Proving Grounds, there's no change there. It just clicks that, it takes you right to a hangar. There's the briefing room.
Welcome, pilots, to the Imperial Navy Starfighter Training Program. Today, you will learn the basics of how to pilot a TIE starfighter, the basics of energy management, and learn to engage. In this mission, you will learn the basics of TIE starfighter movement, energy management, and combat. You will begin by engaging a set of fixed targets.
Blue's gonna do it again, yep, Blue's gonna, and then all the rest of them are fine. So, I don't know why that happens, but yeah, anyway. That.
In this mission, you will learn to maneuver your craft to engage non-hostile moving targets. Finally, you will combine these skills to engage individual hostile craft that will shoot back at you.
Okay, so let's make the missions move forward a little bit. So we've got Lambda model. TIE fighter model. Wings. We're going to jump ahead. We're going to go through a couple of these battles, get these medals. Still have an issue with the hover over, mouse over tool tips not being visible for some of these medals. But there's that. I've also changed the way the cutscenes work, so I've split the, and I've updated the front planet images, they're higher res now. There's an issue, I've cut the medal ceremonies off of all the backs of all the cutscenes.
The captain has given a special commendation to the upgrade team. Your contributions are invaluable. Thank you for your hard work.
God, what a blowhard. So I've cut all the medal ceremony scenes off the backs of the normal cutscenes, so they're separate videos. They play one after another, or they should anyway. I still need to test most of that, but I've done all of the setup to make it work based on how it was already set up. Some of the cutscenes have multiple parts, so I just copied that work. But what I can do is I can go into the menu here, and I can click on View Cutscenes, and you can see that since I progressed far enough that I've gotten through battles 1 and 2, I have the opening cutscene, the first battle cutscene, the first battle medal ceremony, the second battle cutscene, and the second battle deal. So if we watch this video, it should not have the medal ceremony on the end. So we'll watch it real quick. One day I'd love to be able to redo all these cutscenes, but I'm not even gonna jump into that zone just yet.
Come with an offer for the rebellion.
Just in case.
We have little reason to trust you, Admiral Harkov, but we are willing to hear your offer.
Just in case Oda King wants to do it.
The fleet under my command is willing to join the Rebel Alliance for a price.
Very interesting, Admiral. We have great need for officers of your caliber. Here is what I propose.
Alright, so then that finishes. And then ideally, if we actually finish the mission, immediately after that finishes, then this plays. And then I've also set it up and potentially fixed, with Jeremy's help, the issue with the secret order and medal post cutscene sort of review. So hopefully that stuff is set up, but I still need to test that as well. But ultimately, if you get a single, if you finish a battle or finish a mission, and you get a single Calidor, either the arm, it's going to be a black background at the very bottom. The very bottom of the layer is going to be a black background. Otherwise, it would just the background. If I made the very bottom layer not black and I made it see-through, you'd be looking through to the debrief console, which is not bad, but I figured it just looks cleaner if I just make the very bottom layer black. Then it draws the if you get a battle medal, if you're finishing a battle, it'll draw the battle medal with transparency. So just this image, but with no gray around the edges. It'll draw that over the flat black, and it should have a title of what it's called on the screen. That should be positioned correctly based on the coordinates I gave it. And if alternatively, if you finish a mission and you just happen to trigger the next promotion for the Secret Order, the Calidor award would show up. It'll be the arm, it'll be centered on the screen, and again, transparency looking through to the very bottom layer, which is the black background, and then it'll have its title up at the top. Now, in the rare case, which again I need to replicate, excuse me, that you get both the Secret Order and the battle medallion in the same post-mission briefing, or after the cutscene's over, and you go to review that for. I don't even think you can click off of it. I think it just hangs there for a few seconds. Ideally, it should be separated so that your left arm has been shifted over to this side of the screen. So the Calidor has been moved just horizontally to the left, and so has its description, so it should be above it. And then the battle medallion that you got, if you got that at the same time, will be shifted over to the right with its text description up at the top. I think I've lined everything up so they don't overlap, and they're big enough to fit on the screen and look good. Again, we'll test that, but I think we've solved that long-standing bug. Or at least we have the tools to. We just need to make sure that I did it right and that I've positioned things correctly. So if any of y'all come across that, take screenshots of that so I can adjust spacing if I need to. Okay. What else? I think that covers most of it. The concourse animations, like you were asking earlier, they just don't work right now. I've got maybe about 25% of the animations completed in WebM form, which was supposed to be the new space-saving high-resolution animation file, which are actually included with what I'm going to turn over. I'll turn over more once I do more of them, but they don't work at the moment. When you turn it on, even with the work in progress hooks that Jeremy was working on, it causes, first of all, they don't show up at all, but even though they're not showing up, it causes a drastic frame rate drop. So once that's solved, sure, I'll continue to work on that, but at least for the moment, the concourse without animations is functioning and ready to go. And I think that covers everything. Yeah.